Hello everyone, I'm Julie from Camellia Crafts Designs. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making some little faux vellum / glassine bags. Don't you just love the sound of that? And what I'm going to use to do it is some beeswax, some copier paper that's been printed on, and my little craft iron. I'll show you the beeswax we're going to use firstly, then I can move it out of the way. I made some waxed wraps for food earlier on in summer, so I got this. To be honest, I didn't realise it was such a big bag, but I've got plenty of beeswax now, haven't I? So I've got to find ways to use it. It's cosmetic grade. I just picked it up on Amazon. There's lots of different types on there, and this is what they look like. They're the little yellow pellets. I know you can use any type of wax for this, really. You can get beeswax blocks, you can get candles that you rub on and then melt. I just find these the easiest way for me. Right, so I've showed you the bag that we're going to make, and this is what we're going to make it from. I've printed out some images from My Porch Prints. This is from her white wood collection. I absolutely love it. And these are going to go lovely with my Edith journal and my rose journal that I'm currently finishing. This is a piece that I have already, just listen to it. This was actually a piece 110 GSM I'd already printed on. It does exactly the same job, it's just not quite as translucent. I mean, if you look at this one I've made, let me grab, I've not actually made a journal card for it. I can't even see. You can't see. I'll show you before I fold the other one. Let's show it you with this thick one. If I put it over that thick black writing, even though this is a brown print, you can see the word journal through. And when I've done it on this 80 GSM paper, it will be a lot more translucent, see-through. Is that the same thing? Yeah. Right, so let's get started. I'm going to need a piece of greaseproof paper or baking parchment. Now I'm going to use the piece I've already been using. Oh, I've left a half finished piece in there. I'll show you when I do this one why I end up with half finished pieces. I can finish it anytime I want. It's just the way I do it. I'll show you this as well because I've heard people mention they can't get hold of this in the UK. It's the brown non-stick baking paper from Tesco. Now I have had this a couple of years, so I don't know if they still do it. It's worth a look. You now know what the packet looks like, even if you're doing your online shopping, because I've not been in Tesco's for a good while, since March at least, and we all know why. So I've got my barking paper. Got my barking paper. That won't please cat, would it, if I had barking paper? Got my baking paper. I've got my paper I'm going to use, and I'll put the other bits out of the way. And you can see I've already cut these. I printed them like two to an A4 sheet, to make my little bags. And the reason I've cut just two edges off is I want these to be my little lips that fold over and glue to make the bag. Then I'm not wasting as much of this area. So I know what I'm saying. I hope you can understand me. So here we go. I've got my heat proof mat on my green mat. That's my piece of paper. I'm going to bring in my little pellets, and I'm just going to sprinkle them all over. Doesn't really matter if you get too much in one place and not enough in another. You can move the wax around. It's not the end of the world. Oh, a regular feature now we've got coming up. A cup of tea being delivered by my glamorous assistant. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, we've got a little squeak to your welcome. Thank you, Rachel. If I've got a cup of tea, I get less frogs. Right. So we've sprinkled the wax on. I'm going to fold my baking paper over now, and I've already preheated my iron. I always have it on not quite full. It'd be easy if irons had numbers, wouldn't it? And I'm just going to go over. you should be able to see how that wax is melting. The darker areas is where the wax is melted. Once you've crunched the little pellets down, you can slide your iron around easier. Don't know if this sound effects is coming from all of a sudden. Whee! See meat-proof mat underneath this. Look at me going up and look. I don't know why, at some point I decided to cut corner off. No idea why I did that. I haven't got a clue. Must have been a good idea at the time. Right, I'm now going to peel this back and have a look at what's occurring. Ooh, you can see the wax that's still melty. Ooh, look at that. I mean, you could leave it at that if you wanted. I quite like that. Do you know, if I were doing a tag or a journal card, I could sew this onto a piece of card with some text underneath. Well, let's bring my... Look, can you see now, because I'm using 80 GSM paper, how much easier it is to see through? Yeah, so much better. But I actually want to get my wax all the way to the edges. So I'm just going to grab a few more of my little pellets. Just pop them out edge. Again, I'm not scared of getting too much on. So I'm going to show you what happens with that in a minute. Other people have done these tutorials anyway. I'm not inventing out new here. Might be a few grandmas out there who think I'm teaching them to suck eggs. You can suck your eggs a little better, can't you? Right, and I'm going to come back in with my iron. When I'm doing quite a lot of these, I worry less about getting too much wax on, because we can always transfer the wax onto the next one we're going to do. That's why when I open my barking... Why am I calling it barking paper? It's because I don't know whether to call it baking or parchment, and I'm going for barking. Something's barking, isn't it? I think it's me though, isn't it? I'm barking mad. Right, I think that's all spread out now. Oh, we've got a few little white bits left, so I'm going to come in. I don't mind putting my iron straight onto wax. I mean, wax, you use wax to make your sew plate on your iron smoother. That's a trick my mum always did. Rub a bit of wax on and rub it on some cloth, and then your iron will run smoother. So yeah, I call this servicing my iron. Right, now that's very shiny on back, and because I've picked that when it was wet, I've put a couple of fingerprints in, and to be honest, I've got way too much wax on there. So I'm going to bring in my other piece of paper that I cut ready. I'm going to pop it underneath this one, and I'm going to iron over again. And what happens is the excess wax... Why am I doing a video when I can't speak? The excess wax is soaking into that piece underneath. So that's why when I open this barking paper up, now I'm calling it that on purpose now, baking paper up, I had a half finished piece underneath. Look, oh, and that's lovely now. Look at that. Like, do you know what? I think we could even put some onto another piece. I did go a bit mad with that wax. A little does go a long way. Oh, it's getting nicer. If you've got too much wax on, it won't be as smooth. But like I say, you can always get the excess wax off onto your next piece of paper. That I'm now happy with. Can you hear that? I just love that noise. It's lovely and smooth. And we've got a few unfinished ones underneath now, haven't we? So I'll put all my unfinished ones back in. I'll finish them at a later date, because I like putting these in my journals. So they're out of the way. I'm going to move this out of the way. If some sciencey person can tell me how wax can go through paper, I'd love to know. Is it because it's like grease? I really don't know, but it does go through it. Right, so that's all that lot moved. My mat's a bit hot now. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That's cooling down. I'm going to unplug my iron before I burn myself, because I'm a bit of a nightmare with stuff like that. let's bring a cup of tea in, because my tea is now where my iron goes, over on this side. So, and for my next disaster, I will probably knock over my cup of tea. Oh, that's lovely. My little Rachel makes a lovely cup of tea. Oh, we've got a stray wax pellet there. I'm going to stick it back in my little tub. Right, now for the bag. This is, if you know how to make a bag, you know how to make a bag. But I was asked by Tanya at Tatter Treasure to do this wax. She wants to know how to do the wax and how to make the bag, because she says sometimes she gets a little bit confused over where to put the little mitered corners, and it's quite simple. Well, I'm saying it's simple. It's simple when you know how to do it, isn't it? I get confused over daft things. Right, can you see how I left a white edge on two sides? That is where I'm going to score to make my bag. So, not too hard. We don't want, remember this is 80 GSM paper with a bit of wax on. So, you want to score it and not tear it. Where's that one? It's about half an inch. Half an inch there. So, what is with me today? I'm just going to move that along, because I don't want to waste any of this gorgeous pattern. And I'm going to, yeah, I'll score there. I even like the sound of it when you score it. So, you can see, just like with parchment paper, it goes white when you score it. You know, people who do that, is it Pergamano? That thing that takes a lot of patience that I can't be doing. Yeah. Anyway, bring my scissors in. Ooh, before I start cutting, we've got those two score marks. I'm now just going to fold this. I'm not folding it in half completely. I'm folding up to my score line. Yep. That will then be my little bag. That'll be the size and shape of it. Yep. Also, before I stick it together, I'm going to come in and put a thumb notch in. So I'm going to decide which is going to be the front. It can be either, don't really matter. That's my front. And halfway, let's fold that over first as well, so I can see the full width of my bag. And I'm just going to come in and put a little thumb notch in. Normally 80 GSM paper would get stuck in my punch, but when it's got wax on it, the punch is absolutely lovely. So we've folded that side where we've scored. We're going to fold this side along the score, and then I'm going to start chopping bits off. Right, so here we go. I'm going to bring my scissors in, and here I'm going to miter from the bottom corner in. I'm going to do the same there, and I'm going to do the same there. Yep. Then I'm going to open it back up, and that bit there I don't need, so I'm going to cut that bit off all together. So we've got the score line. Ooh, I can't get it in the right place. The score line and the bottom of the design to guide us. This is the only time I cut freehand, me, when I've got something to guide me. It's not straight, but it's not meant to be perfect. It's a junk journal. Right, now what I'm going to do to stick this is use my 3-in-1. I've tried a few different glues. This one seems to become invisible and stick really well. I don't think you can stick this well with vellum. I don't know if it's the wax that it's adhering to, but it does seem to stick really well. Better than vellum itself. You tend to have to use a dry adhesive, don't you, on vellum? Right, first bit of glue is, can you see how that bit overlaps that bit? Oh, hang on, nearly missed something out. I've cut here a little piece of my label backing that I love, and I'm going to pop it inside, so that when I glue it, and if any glue squidges out, it's not going to go onto the other side of my bag and stick my bag together. It's just going to go onto this, which I can then tug out. So I want a tiny little bit of glue there, just to stick these two flaps together. There we go. It does take a little bit longer for this glue to grab on this waxed paper, but it does grab and it stays grabbed. That's that. So now I've done that little corner, I'm just going to come in with my bone folder and flatten that a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to put a very, oh, she says it's a volcano in again. Oh, just wipe it off with your finger. And then wipe it on your cloth in your rubbish bag. Right, yeah, I'm going to put a very thin line along here. Spread that out. And there, just both edges. If you get too much, just spread it out with your finger. She says, I hate touching this with my fingers, and I just have. Oh, I don't know why it's volcanoing. I always thought it did it in warm weather, but it's so not warm here. I've even got my window open, you know, because I've been ironing that wax, so I didn't get overcome by fumes. Right, so I've got glue on those two edges, and I'm just going to fold that over now and press it down. That just needs a slight wiggle into place. So then I'll come in and my bowl folder, we're barking, we've got folding bowls. Oh, what is this today? Bone folder. And that's it. In fact, if you look now, you know that little piece of label backing, you can see the writing through. That's lovely. That's not stuck yet. I'm just going to then, I can't even see the sides I've stuck, that one. I'm just going to gently go over the sides that I've stuck with glue. But already I can't see that glue. I'm going to take that out. It's hardly visible. That's there. I'm going to come in with a tiny little bit of ink on this one, just to highlight the edge a little bit. It does ink well. It doesn't rub off as far as I know. I've not noticed it rubbing off when I've used it. You know, like when you've Mod Podged something or it's got glue on, you need to use some kind of solvent ink. This goes on over the wax paper, lovely. I'm just going to do a little bit on the inside of that notch. There we go. I'm not going to wax the rest. I just wanted that little top bit done. And that's it. We're done. That was like easiest, quickest tutorial in the world. I've got this. Pop that in. Can you see now how you can see all the writing through? So you've got your faux parchment, glassine, vellum, whatever you want to call it, pouch. And that's it. We're done. So thank you for joining me. You'll see me adding this to my Edith journal. I'll be finishing that over the next couple of days and filming a few tutorials. Well, more like craft with me's. So yeah, know how I'm getting on with it. I hope to have it finished by the end of this week. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learnt something. Yeah, I'm barking mad, and I'll see you next time. Bye.